Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Oscode Talks. We are back with yet another interview experience, and today we have with us Mr. Ashutosh Tandon, who has been selected as a software development engineer at Fidelity Investments. In this video, we're going to ask about his experience at Fidelity, his interview experience and preparation strategies. So please welcome Mr. Ashutosh Tandon. Hi Ashutosh, welcome to our channel. And please tell something about yourself to our audience.
Sure. So I'm Ashutosh Tandon. I'm a member of the Oscode community and I'm a student at Bangalore Institute of Technology. And I'm an upcoming SDE at Fidelity Investments. My interests, they include coding, reading books, and generic stuff like that. I'm not very interesting. So, yeah.
Okay. So, because this interview is mainly focused on your interview experience at Fidelity, so can you walk us through the interview experience, like how many rounds were there, what questions you were asked, and general stuff like that?
Sure. So there were 3 rounds. The first round, as happens in every company, was a normal coding and aptitude round. So it had aptitude questions, it had general computer science aptitude as well as mathematical aptitude questions.
Okay.
And then there were algorithmic questions, like you had to, write the algorithm, not exactly the code, but the algorithm for some problems, 2 of them. And 2 of them were coding questions. So this was the first round. And this is the round that I'm the most scared of, by the way, because it involves no interaction whatsoever with the interviewer or reviewer.
Yeah.
So apart from that, the next round I had was my technical interview. So the technical interview in Fidelity Investments, what I got to know and what I saw in the interview as well, was that Java and OOPS are very important concepts. I do understand that a lot of people don't consider Java to be the best language. They consider C++ to be. Some consider C, some Python, Java. The battle is, never ending. But the thing with Java is it's the most massive object-oriented language.
Yeah.
Like it is the king of
object-oriented.
yeah. So even I was a fan of C++. I studied C++ in 11th class and 12th class. But, well, Java is quite interesting as well. And when it comes to interviews, you have to crack them, right? So I learned about that and oops. A little bit of DBMS was there, which could be skipped since since Fidelity came in our 4th semester, as it was taught in our 5th semester. So that's why a lot of people told that to the interviewer as well. I myself knew a little bit about it, so that was it. And apart from that, this was mostly what was asked. Then I passed that round and I went to the HR round. So what the HR round is, they basically test how good fit you would be, how good of a fit you would be for that role and for the company. Like, can you really bring positivity into the role and into the environment there?
Will you be able to manage or mingle in the environment of
exactly
the
like people may be all knowing, but they might not be able to fit into the into the role or in the company. So actually a bit of character test type of thing.
Yeah.
So that is it. And apart from that, they actually tested a bit of my knowledge of the company as well. So I memorized a bit of stuff. So yeah, these were the 3 rounds that I
actually very smart to know about company before.
exactly.
So do you remember any questions like coding questions or CS questions that were asked in the interview?
Yes. So I do remember that, well, my interview was good. He wasn't very strict. So, I could answer a little freely. So I do remember a specific question that he asked, which actually taught me the value of how important it is to grasp the little concept, concepts. So what happened was he asked me public static void main. Everyone writes that in their Java code, right? But it's like intuitional. Like you just write it.
Start typing.
You start and then string args. So what happens is a lot of people don't know what those 4 words actually stand for or why we write those 4 words. So the interviewer asked me that.
Okay.
Why do we write? What is public? What is static? What is void? And what is main?
Okay.
So I explained public, I explained void, and I explained main. About static, I had this definition of static integers, static variables. So what happens with static variables is The first thing is whatever a static function is, it gets compiled in the starting of the program only. It's moved to the top of the code basically. And one more definition is that whatever the static thing is, it only one copy of it is created.
Yeah, it does.
So for the main part, the first definition would stand correct. The second would be for static integers or static variables. So that was a tricky point that when I answered it, it became more clearer to me. So yeah, that was a tricky question in a technical sense. And in the HR round, well, they always ask about what you feel are your weaknesses and your strengths. So I prepared a lot for that question. But when you really get down to it and when you really answer that question in front of the interviewer, that is a different experience. So you kind of forget whatever you've learned and you go with your intuition.
Okay.
So that is what you have to do.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to show yourself in a positive light, basically.
Okay. And like, was there any unexpected question that you were not expecting, or well, you were shocked at how can you ask in an interview? Was there any out of the box question or only standard questions?
Actually, most of them were standard questions, but of course, the interviewers like to throw some bouncers at us.
Yeah.
So there was one question. I don't exactly remember 100% of it, but what happened is, he asked me about databases, DBMS, and I had learned SQL in class 12. So he asked me if I knew triggers and all, but I didn't know triggers. So I just told him that I know the very basics of DBMS. Actually, I studied normalization a night before the interview.
Okay.
So he asked me a kind of difficult question about keys. There are a lot of type of keys. I guess there are 7. I don't exactly remember. So he asked me about candidate keys, and at that time I had just grasped a little bit of it. So I was expecting that okay, maybe the interviewer wouldn't ask me about DBMS because I actually told him that hasn't been taught to us.
Okay.
But he explicitly asked the question, so I had to answer it. So I just had the gist of it, so I answered a little bit about it. But he caught it that okay, I know a little.
Know about
I know a little. So yeah.
And like, so what was the preparation strategy, and when did you start? Resources that you followed? Anything?
So, as for coding, in 11th and 12th, I took computer science as my optional subject.
Yeah.
So, in 11th and 12th, I got acquainted with C++, till linked lists, and also SQL.
Okay.
Also SQL, but the linked list part, I didn't understand that a lot. So, for boards, I actually just memorized.
Yeah.
So, apart from that, when I got into the first year, so then I started coding, and basically that's the best thing that you could do if you are an engineer or an upcoming engineer or anyone who wants to get a job in the software field. Start as early as you can. What I feel, being an engineer or like an engineering student, especially a computer science one, that it's not just restricted for computer science people.
Yeah.
It's just that it's taught to me in my classes only.
In the curriculum.
So I just wanted to get my hands dirty. I wanted to try machine learning. I wanted to try data science, cybersecurity. I wanted to try everything. Okay. But I just wanted to have a gist of everything so that I know what I'm good at or what I really would like to pursue as my career. So I started giving contests on Code Chef and Code Forces. Now the biggest problem with people who are learning coding right now is they blindly follow a course. For example, if you have, let's say, I won't take any names, but let's say you have XYZ course, you have ABC courses, people would blindly follow onto that course and they would hesitate to have any knowledge outside that course.
It's basically a theoretical knowledge, but they don't know how to apply these concepts.
Yeah, exactly. So, 2 things happen when you do that. First of all, whoever is teaching you that course, he or she will pick the best project that they have ever made. And they will tell you everything that was, that they had to learn to make that big project. Okay. So in a way, you are just learning how to make a project. You're not actually learning all of it. I do understand that there are a lot of courses which teach you everything. But then the second problem arises, which is with the students themselves, that they just, they'll make very beautiful notes. They'll make notes. Even I try to be a perfectionist at some point of time. I tried that, okay, I have to learn everything about this language, but you cannot learn everything about any language.
Yeah.
What you can do best is you can, adapt your mind to whatever questions they ask in interviews. For example, DP is a very important concept.
Yeah.
DP requires recursion.
Yes.
Recursion requires a basic understanding of stacks. So, your brain has to function that way, and you need to understand what parts are the most important. So, when you have that coding interview round or technical interview, you can actually make that interviewer happy about what knowledge you have. So, the second problem is that people don't code out what they've learned.
Yes.
Okay, so the most popular course is Abdul Bari, and he's an excellent teacher.
yes.
Like, he covers everything. Like, there's no flaw in his course. The second problem arises here, that is with the student. So what the student will do is, he'll understand, okay, this is DP, okay, this is graphs, okay, the Dijkstra's algorithm, okay, Bellman-Ford, I understood how to apply it. He will actually be able to apply it in a theoretical manner if you give him a graph.
Yeah.
But if you ask him to code it out, he won't be able to do it, because what happens is, after arrays, a new part of coding kind of begins. You have linked
Complex
lists,
data structures,
stacks,
advanced
queues,
data
linked
structures,
lists. People tend to lose contact of their laptops after that. What
Okay.
they do is they'll just make notes. So I have a lot of friends who did the same mistake. I reprimanded them, and some of them understood. Some of them are doing the same thing.
Okay.
But as far as I know, and as far as I suggest, you won't be able to solve any coding problem if you don't have a basic syntax understanding. You can write all you want, but till the time you don't, have a computer, hash include iostream or hash includes bit slash stdc plus plus dot, whatever you want to write, just make a calculator, add two numbers. Don't think of any code as basic. That is a basic funda that I followed, and everything else just falls into place when you work on it.
Okay. Okay, so you were also an intern at Fidelity Investments.
Yes.
So can you please tell us something about your internship experience at Fidelity?
Sure. So the internship experience was excellent. Like my mentor and my manager, they were both great, and it's a very good work culture as well.
Okay.
I regretted that they had to do it totally online.
Oh.
I wanted to be offline.
Okay. Some people might disagree, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, actually, it is quite fun, but when you get to realize that okay, office has free food, then you regret. Okay, I should have been into office. So yeah, that is a thing. Apart from that, there are a lot of things happening in the office as well from time to time, cricket matches and all. So
Okay.
that is also interesting.
Basically, just community building and networking with people is very important.
Exactly, a community is super important in every phase of your preparation. So yeah, that is it. Apart from that, about my project, about my role and all. So I was a software development intern, and what happened in that was I was given this stack of Apache Kafka. So Kafka is actually related to a bit of Java.
Okay.
So it's not exactly limited to Java. It is actually taught with Java, Apache Kafka. I didn't know about it, but it is what enables real-time streaming and real-time transferring of data. So what I actually had to do was they had this event relaying system. So what I had to do was, in that what happened is, if someone is promoted or someone is fired, the updates reach the company or the databases in 1 or 2 days. So it takes time. But times are different. You need data instantly. Everything is instant nowadays. So what I had to do is I had to build a pipeline which could relay those messages in almost real time, in 5 seconds or 10 seconds or to the max 15 seconds.
Least delay was.
Yeah, least delay. So that had to be done, and I learned a lot about Kafka. Like, it was a lot of help. Also ChatGPT. So it was a lot of help. And also there are a lot of things to learn using the company laptop. There are a lot of restrictions in the company laptops. So you have to figure your way out of it. But my manager and my mentor both were very understanding and very considerate towards me. So that was good as well. And also work from home does have this advantage that you can work eating or have eating whatever you want, or being wherever you want. So that is good. So basically that happened, and in the last phases of my internship, I guess there were 2 or 3 judges. Yeah, it was a PPT presentation, so I had to make a
For the
PowerPoint
project you worked
presentation. yeah, whatever project I worked on, I had to make a PPT. It was 7 or 8 slides, but it had to concentrate on the information that about my project. So I had to present that, and then a panel of judges would ask some questions to me, and I would have to answer them to know how much you have made the project and know how much you've actually learned, how fit you are to learn something. So yeah, that was it.
So overall, it was like a nice experience.
It was a good
Of work culture, everything is good.
Yeah,
Really.
very good.
Okay, nice. So yes, so because you're also part of a community, Osgood. So would you recommend students joining community, and can it help in their preparation or anything?
Exactly. Well, this is a very nice and interesting question because a lot of people don't understand the value of offline interactions while preparations. So, for example, even for IIT, JEE or CAT or UPSC, why are offline coachings considered better? Like offline, I'm not talking about coachings in general. Anything offline, like reading a newspaper rather than seeing a YouTube video of the highlights, it's considered better because there's a special touch to whatever you do offline. You can see, you can look at it, you can feel it, you can interact. Interaction is very important. So what happens in a community is, I'll take the example of the Oscode community because I've been very acquainted with this community and it has helped me a lot. So what has happened is there are people who I can look up to. Let's say I have a doubt in Python. So right now it may feel that, okay, why, if you have doubts, you can just ask ChatGPT and all.
Yes.
That's not the case. ChatGPT cannot resolve your doubts. It can only provide you code, and which is often wrong. I've seen a lot of it. So whenever you have some doubts, now, okay, you follow a course, you follow YouTube, you can't ask them queries.
Yes.
Okay, no matter how proficient they are in any coding language or anything, you cannot just approach them. How can you? So if you have some doubts or something, communities always come in very handy. You always have someone at your disposal who can answer your doubts, who can provide you with new material. Let's say, okay, you're not understanding things from some ABC book. You can always ask people. There's a Python community. There is a Python community in Oscode. So I can ask that Python community, that Python sub-community, whatever. I can ask the head, I can ask the people, okay, tell me something. Everyone would have a different resource, and engineering is all about that. You just have to test different things till you know what suits you best. I did not understand linked lists in my class 12, as I told you. I studied it from 7 different places. 7 to 8 different places because it was a completely new concept of data structures.
Yeah.
Arrays is very easy.
Yeah.
So I had to study it personally from 7 or 8 places. And then I arrived at the best video. I guess it was Nizo Academy.
Okay.
If I would have the, luxury of having the Oscode community at that point of time, I would have just made a call or put a message on the Discord server. Please, someone let me know what book or what YouTube video to follow.
Yes.
I want to learn about this, and I would have gotten the best resource. So that is the biggest importance of a community. Also, people think that, okay, maybe if they join a community, they would have to share resources which will make the competition harder for them. But
that's never the case.
Exactly. It's the mentality is such that you gatekeep resources. But thing with that is, even if you gatekeep resources, it does not guarantee you getting in. Only the deserving ones get in any rounds, right? So share knowledge so that you get it back as well. If you won't share, you won't get it back as well. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
A community is a two-way street. So that is why a community is very important. Also, I learned coding in 11th and 12th. If someone would not have learned coding in 11th and 12th,
many people start in college only.
Yeah, super important for them because they can't just blindly follow a course. Because courses don't have that much of knowledge inside them. They do have, they have concise
workflow and the systematic topics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like they would, okay, one video you'll have arrays, the next video you'll maybe have stacks and queues. But just one video isn't enough to, have that intuition of arrays. You need to visualize, okay, there is a sequence of bytes inside the memory, everything. You just need to have that intuition built into you. And no one can do that better than an offline community. So that is why I recommending joining a community. And for me, OS Code worked out very, very well. So I'll just recommend everyone to join OS Code.
Okay. And so yeah, that's pretty much about it. So can you just want to share anything about the preparation strategy or any tips to first or second year students who are preparing for internships or placement, anything? Would you want to share any specific tips in general?
As for tips, I do remember that there is a very big dilemma of where to start coding in terms of online platforms. Yeah. So that is something that I would want to share, because everyone knows there's this very popular book, Mastering C and C++ algorithms. When I was in class 11th and 12th, I guess Sumita Arora books were there.
Yeah.
Sumita Arora. So those books were very excellent. They were
Do
excellent.
they work for college also?
Exactly. See, the thing is, basics would take you anywhere you want.
Okay.
So the basics have to be mastered, and no book can do that better than your class 11th and 12th books. Because if you want to learn maths, what do? You take class 1st to class 12th NCRTs. You solve all of them. You know maths. Because those are the most renowned books. So apart from that, what platforms you have to use is, I would recommend starting out with HackerRank.
HackerRank, yeah.
Because it has all the basic syntax questions that you would use. Okay. So you need to master and memorize the syntax first. It needs to be on your fingertips, so that you don't waste time memorizing that stuff.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things that need to be memorized. After you understand them, you need to memorize a lot of things as well in code. So start out with HackerRank, then do a lot of contests. Give every contest on Code Forces and CodeChef, whatever you can. And then when you're done with that, when you feel that you're good with solving at least 4 out of those 5 questions, go on to lead code.
Okay. Nice advice, I would say. So, okay, that's about it. So, thank you very much, Ashutosh, for coming us and interacting with us.
Thanks,
It was a wonderful experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.